As your parents get older, there's this fine line you have to navigate. You want to respect their agency, but at the same time, you got to keep them safe.
Yeah, when you think of those tough conversations that, you know, couples have to have all the time with their parents, like taking away the keys maybe when they're too old to drive, or maybe it's time to bring in some extra help. Those can be tough conversations to have and really awkward, to say the least. Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend is here to help us communicate without offending. Tough conversations.
I love them.
You do not.
I do them every day.
You do not. Well, you help couples do them every day.
Well, I actually do, and I help. I mean, what's interesting about it is, why are they so tough, really? I mean, what is the strangest thing that could happen? Or what's the most difficult thing about it?
I think it's the emotions that are tied to it.
Exactly.
I mean, these are people that then in some cases are losing their independence, or, I mean, there's emotions with that, and that makes it hard.
See, so the sign of an emotional conversation is a sign we should be paying attention to. It's telling us something. So the more like complicated you feel about the conversation, the more likely it is that this is really an emotional, important thing to be doing. But what we tend to do is we avoid this, or like we kind of let someone else do it. The hard thing about this is, I'm going to teach you, there's 4 steps. I call it to care. We want to care for these people, because to care for them, we have to soothe the emotions, or you're never going to get the logical activity to happen. For example, if you need to take the keys away, you're going to have to somehow make your way through all this emotion to get to the keys. Now, you can try a million different ways to do it, but there's a few that actually tend to work better. Okay?
What are they?
Numero uno. You ready? Choose the spirit of working with your parents instead of against them. So this is the spirit of care. The spirit of caring for somebody is that you're going to work with them, not against them. Meaning, this isn't just your problem, Mom. This is our issue, and we want to work with you in a way to make sure you can get transportation. Whatever your concerns are, we're going to work with you. We're not against you on this. The minute they sense it's a battle, what will they do?
They're going to resist that. They're going to back up.
And then predict what happens to the emotion. And then you'll notice, I guarantee you, if you don't handle this right, the emotions will go up. So watch as you're doing this to make sure that the emotions are not escalating. If emotions are escalating, it's time to back down. Then everyone's always like, well, you can't back down because they'll die.
Well, what about the emotion of sadness, though? If they start to just exhibit sadness, is that an emotion to pull back from?
Well, it's an emotion to pay attention to. So all of the emotions, be watching. If anger's going up, watch it. If the sadness is getting out of control and swelling up, you've got to pay attention to it. Why? Why is it if they're getting more and more emotional about it, why do we need to see that and pay attention to it?
Because that's their heart speaking to you. I mean, that's important.
The issue.
That's the issue.
That is the real issue you're trying to overcome. See, we think it's about a car. It's never about the tangible. It's about the intangible. It's about that emotion. And once that starts to swell, we see it and we start to react to it and run from it when we really need to draw to it and start paying attention to that.
So they start getting emotional. They start saying, you can't take away my car, or I'm sad you're taking away my car, or whatever it is.
You know what I do? I'd recognize the emotion. This is killing you, isn't it, Mom? Tell me what you feel. Well, tell me what you're feeling about this, and I'll guarantee you they will just go and start giving you all of this information and feeling. And by the way, that feeling coming out is an excellent sign, because that means we're now starting to manage the emotion out instead of keeping the emotion in.
Does you expressing emotion or getting caught up in that emotion too? Because I think it's sad for kids that have to have this conversation, the adult kids that have to have this conversation. Does that help or hurt the situation?
It all depends. I guess I'd watch. If you see them shutting down because you're getting more emotional, then you might be not getting the emotion out of them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You still got to be in control of the situation.
Well, yeah, but see, the whole idea of control is to let it go. So that kind of gets to our next one. Attend to their emotional needs first, logical needs second. If we don't get the emotional need out, they're never going to get it out. Most of the times what we're battling here is a real deeper, I call it a starved need, a basic human need is really what's at play here. They feel disrespected because they can't drive. They feel discouraged because they lost their freedom. So it's freedom issues, it's discouragement issues. And as you dig in there, and I'm not here to fight with you, Mom, the reality is, here's the data, it's not working as well as we need to. You've had your 3rd ticket in 2 weeks, and we're really concerned about you. Tell me what you're feeling. I'd get them sharing their feelings, and then all I would do is validate the feelings. I wouldn't try to poo-poo them and say, yeah, well, we'll be here. I wouldn't give them a lot of solutions at first. I'd let them share their feelings, okay? The more they get the feelings out, there's power in those feelings, and especially when you validate them. You don't have to agree with them. You know, they could say it's not fair. How many times with your 3-year-old have they cried it's not fair, and yet you still can understand it? It feels like it's not fair to you.
Any tips for cutting through the pride factor? Maybe it's a conversation where you're trying to maybe offer bringing someone in to help them do something or help them take care of something.
So part of this, it's them. See, the idea, if you want them to live it, They have to, so the early detector, the first gate you have to go through is this amygdala, the fight or flight tendency of every human. So once you're kind of through that, I'm pretty sure the pride thing you can mitigate by just saying, we'll be there, we'll help you, we'll do it to you. Mom, let it be us. We'll be the ones that'll be your family that'll come do it. We don't have to tell other people about it. I actually have found you don't need to usually worry about how to get around that as long as they know you care. So remember, the whole thing of this is I don't care how much you know till I know how much you care. Till you get through the emotion first, anything you say other than that probably doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now watch, this third one's crazy. Recognize that you need to relax. That slower is going to be faster in this approach. See, this is the thing I've learned actually mediating divorces or helping people, talk to their parents. We tend to think there's this huge hurry that we need to do this. And almost universally, the faster you go on this, the slower it ends up going. So if you'll just kind of pace yourself and understand that it takes people time to change. So if we can have 2 or 3 conversations where they're getting the idea that we care and they're getting the idea that it's just not safe, and where they're getting the idea that we're pretty resolute, then you'll see over time they'll start to buy into it.
So if I go and have this conversation, taking the keys away or something like that, I shouldn't have in my mind, I'm going to go in today, I'm going to walk out with the keys. I should be prepared for a long conversation.
Now think about that. What's everybody thinking out there? Well, I can't let them drive. If I let them drive, then they're just going to kill somebody. Well, they're still in charge. Until the police come to get them, they're still an agent. They still have a say. So the whole idea of this is if you're going to want to change anybody, you're going to either have to get them to change or you're going to have to get institutions to get them to change. The reality of trying to get an institution, a governmental agency, to get your parents to change, it takes a lot of time. And it takes a lot of process. And almost even then, they're still sneaking the keys. So what we want to do is, you may want to have the goal of getting the keys, but in the end, what we're going to have to do is find a way to get them to give us the keys.
Is it ever beneficial to bring in an outside expert or an outside facilitator to help this?
The grand finale.
Yeah.
The last thing is when you don't have the voice anymore and it's not working, it's better to get someone else to say it. I can say things to couples and they believe me that they don't even believe in each other. If some partner says something to another, they don't want to hear it from them. The quote is very simply, who you are speaks so loudly I can't hear the words you're saying. So if I'm your child and I'm telling you you can't drive anymore, there's always been a weird hierarchy between parent and child. Sometimes that's the hardest one to tell it. If your doctor's saying, you know what, you can't drive anymore,
then you accept it right there.
Yeah.
So that just means you need to be a little more proactive, but you be the one that's going to be by mom's side when she finds out from the doctor she can't drive anymore. And then that's how we're working together. Make sense?
Yeah.
So it's slow, steady. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard.
You always have great help for people. In fact, you're going to do some little relationship analyzation consulting kind of stuff.
What we do is, so we're going to give everybody right now a free consultation. So anybody with a relationship problem, you can come in, you sit down, we assess you, we evaluate you, go to matttownsend.com, and one of our coaches will sit down and spend a whole hour with you and an assessment, all for free.
Wow.
All you got to do is go to matttownsend.com.
That's
Tons of
great.
fun. Change your life forever.
Yeah, that is.
We'll have, of course, the information on our website. You can find out how to get a hold of Matt's website. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll be right back.